Hey everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. 2 fantastic days in a row, and today was more like late May as promised. The temperatures this afternoon soared into the 70s, and officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport we hit 75 at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, just 2 shy of the record high, and that's an old record. You know, we have spotty temperature records before 1930. Most of our consistent temperature records for our area are 1930 and onward, but before 1930 we have some spotty temperature records, including all the way back through the late 1800s, and today's record high dates back to 1898 when it was 77 degrees. Regionally, the numbers were kind of eye-popping today, at least in terms of the highs compared to the average. We had a plus 30 in both Wheeling and Pittsburgh, a plus 32 up in Erie, by the way, a record high in Erie, PA today. And with the very warm air, the gusty winds, and the low relative humidity values, we had relative humidity values around 8, 9, 10%. That's like Las Vegas territory in parts of the area this afternoon. It was a day to avoid outdoor burning. Fire weather warnings were out for parts of eastern and southeastern Ohio, and those fire weather warnings will be discontinued tonight, but it's still very, very dry and very warm out there this evening. We have active weather off to our west. Have the isobars on the map this evening. Lines of equal pressure and low pressure is cruising through Illinois this evening with a warm front up here, cold front back here. And in the warm sector, we've had numerous severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. Tornado watch and a severe thunderstorm watch still out all the way as far east as far western Ohio. And speaking of tornadoes and severe weather, of course, it's Severe Weather Awareness Week in the state of Ohio. We had the statewide tornado drill at 9:50 this morning, and all week long here on Weather for Weather Geeks and on our newscasts and social media, we've been talking about severe weather. And one of the things you oftentimes see me or Andrew or all of us here really at 21 News in the weather department show, from spring through summer, sometimes into the fall, these maps showing the severe risk categories. They're colorful, lots of different colors, and we try to explain when we show those maps what they mean. But here's kind of a breakdown of those 5 severe weather risk categories. These products are put out by the Storm Prediction Center. The terms marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, high, those are fine, but I prefer the number system because it's a little easier for people to understand that, you know, 3 is worse than a 2, whereas is an enhanced worse than slight? That's a little bit harder for some folks to kind of digest. In our local area in eastern Ohio and western PA, it's very common for us to be in a level 1 marginal or level 2 slight risk of severe weather. During the course of the year, we see marginal risks a few dozen at least times per year, a couple of dozen times usually for a slight risk, and that's a long-term average. Some years are more active than others. Now, once we get up to level 3, it becomes much more rarefied air. We do see enhanced risks, typically a couple times a year in our part of the world. Once you get up into moderate and high categories, though, that's very rare for our area. In fact, our area in eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, has not officially been in a moderate risk for severe weather since November of 2013. We had a severe weather outbreak across parts of the region back in the fall season in 2013, and almost never do you see a high risk level 5 around here. That would be really, really extraordinary to see that kind of thing around our parts of the country. It's more common, of course, out to our west. We even see moderate and high risks sometimes in Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, of course, and then out into traditional Tornado Alley and down into Dixie Alley in the southeast as well. In fact, we just had a high risk level 5 this past weekend for parts of Mississippi and Alabama. In the meantime, we're in the waning hours of winter here in the northern hemisphere. Of course, meteorological spring began on March the 1st. We like meteorological seasons, climatological seasons, if you will, because of tidy record keeping. It's a little easier because they always end and start on the same dates. But astronomical spring begins in the northern hemisphere tomorrow at just a tick after 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the equal day and equal night does not actually happen on the equinox. That's on the equal lux, which, because of our latitude and the way we measure sunrises and sunsets, it's always a little bit offset, both in the spring and the fall. In the spring, our equilux occurs before the equinox. In the fall season, it's a few days or a handful of days after the equinox in September. So we actually have 12 hours and 10 minutes of daylight on the equinox coming up on Thursday, but it's not going to feel like spring by the afternoon. Now, it'll be a mild start. We'll be in the 50s at the start of the day with some showers around, but that'll be the high water mark of the day temperature-wise. Another band of showers in the afternoon as our cold air pours in. In fact, After spending early this evening in the 70s, it probably will be cold enough to support a few snow flurries around this time Thursday evening. But the sky will clear out late Thursday night. Wall-to-wall sunshine for most of Friday, a seasonable afternoon. The clouds start to filter in late in the day on Friday, leading to a pretty good chance for some showers as Saturday gets underway. This is another pretty potent cold front coming our way. It'll be another day where temperatures might fall on Saturday. We'll start out probably in the 40s. We'll end up in the 30s by Saturday afternoon. Just kind of a gloomy start to the weekend, and Sunday will start with sun before clouds increase and maybe some raindrops late in the day on Sunday. We're heading into a different pattern, that is for sure. I've been kind of commenting in recent videos that I thought this pattern would evolve during the first few days of April, but it's going to start evolving during that first, or I should say last week of March, and the pattern is one in which a ridge is going to pop up out west, and oftentimes when you see a ridge popping up out here, downstream at the jet stream level, no doubt, a lot of times we see a trough of low pressure, and that pattern will take us into a lot of next week. And looking at the medium and long range modeling, there's not a lot of warm signals for the month of April. Now, of course, climatologically speaking, our averages continue to rise, so a cool day by mid-April is a day where highs are around 60. So, we're not talking about, really cold stuff, but, I don't see a lot of signals that we're going to see a lot of sustained abnormal warmth during the month of April. Now, that being said, you take all long-range forecasts, including my own, with a grain of salt. Of course, our confidence gets lower as you go out farther into the future. Already, the ideas I had for late March, about a week ago, are proving not to be correct. We're going to have a cool last week of the month, and I thought the warmth would hang on for the most part until early April. But that being said, the current information would suggest that April is not likely to be a super warm month compared to the average in eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Make it a great rest of your Wednesday night, everyone. Stay dry tomorrow morning. You'll be dodging a few showers heading off to work and school Thursday morning. I'll see you back here Thursday evening for Weather Geeks.